Last week, Jimmy Kimmel delivered a poignant monologue about his newborn son's heart condition, which turned into a plea for House Republicans to refrain from eviscerating the Affordable Care Act. After they did just that, Seth Meyers used a segment of his late-night show to savage House Speaker Paul Ryan, almost entirely by using his own words against him, in the best Daily Show / Jon Stewart fashion. And there was Stephen Colbert, firing off an anti-Trump diatribe that amounted to the comedic version of a drone strike. Jimmy Fallon, meanwhile, had the following exchange with Goldie Hawn, who was promoting her new comedy Snatched. "Fallon, you and Amy Schumer. I mean, come on. This is a perfect combo." Hawn, "It was so perfect." Fallon, "It's a perfect combo." That's not to say that Fallon's show was light on substance. His week, after all, included slapping actor Chris Pine with an oversized fake hand and reworking a Smash Mouth song from 1999. You can't exactly blame Fallon for wanting to return to the final year of Clintonia, a time before hanging chads and burning towers, before Putinism and long before Trumpism. That was the beginning of a good stretch for Fallon, who'd joined Saturday Night Live in '98. He was best as an overenthusiastic Bostonian in a recurring skit he shared with Rachel Dratch. He did a funny song about Valentine's Day. He did one about Halloween too. Here was the sensitive frat boy singing the nation its lullabies as Osama bin Laden's most fanatical acolytes learned about box cutters and flight controls. SNL creator Lorne Michaels put Fallon in the coveted Weekend Update anchor's chair in 2000. His co-anchor, Tina Fey, made the smarter jokes, but it didn't matter, because Fallon looked very good in a suit, grinning devilishly, but not too devilishly, into the camera. He left SNL in 2003, spent a decade making good money for bad movies. Then, in 2013, J-Lo announced he would be retiring from The Tonight Show. NBC had the perfect replacement, the sweet, inoffensive, uncomplicated Fallon, who could appeal to Walmart America just as Leo had, with easy topical one-liners and gentle celebrity interviews. Of course, the executives at 30 Rock didn't foresee the political ascendance of Donald Trump any more than the rest of us. Nor could they have known that in the age of Trump, late-night comedians, told for years they were being supplanted by YouTube personalities, would suddenly become the conscience of a riveted, anxious nation, their humor weaponized into political commentary, virtually all of it in the service of anti-Trump forces. Trump was the butt of 1,060 zingers on late-night TV during his first several months in office, higher than any of his prior three processors drew within their entire first years in the White House, Politico reported last week. That's especially astonishing when you consider that the Oval Office was once occupied by George W. Bush, who frequently struggled with subject-verb agreement. Not only that, but Trump reached the record number of jokes in just his first 100 days. More than 1,300 days remain. Fallon's first Tonight Show was on February 17, 2014. Well before Trump descended the escalator in his Midtown tower to ramble about Mexico and declare his bid to make America great again. During his first monologue, Fallon reminisced about how his parents let him watch Johnny Carson's monologue before bed when he was a kid. Carson has proven to be Fallon's biggest influence, a relentlessly chipper host who understood that any political stance he took was bound to lose him viewers. Carson, though, is painfully irrelevant today. If the late-night comedy of 2017 has a precedent, then it is in the Dick Cavett Show. Cavett, the cool-blooded Yale graduate, became famous for his aggressive coverage of Watergate, which must have been strange terrain for a late-night host. Then again, Cavett was less comedian than witty conversationalist, one who has aged much better than his competitors. He frequently contributes political columns to the New York Times. The Dick Cavett Show demonstrated the ability of late night to not just make fun of the political elite but to cover hard news with both pointed questioning and a sly wink, noted a 2014 item in the Columbia Journalism Review about whether late night would ever become political again. Would it ever? But then there's Jimmy, poor Jimmy, who wants to offend nobody. In what has been called the age of the woke late night comedian, Fallon has been hosting The Tonight Show through squinted eyes, doing his best to pretend that we are still in the age of Smash Mouth, not that of Kid Rock invited to the White House by President Trump. Ted Ugett and Sarah Palin were there, too. As his fellow late-night comedians do their own part to stoke the resistance, Fallon smirks into the camera, pained and awkward, wondering when it will all end so he can do hip-hop medleys with Justin Timberlake again. Fallon's desire to be liked, once his main asset, has become a lethal liability. This was on full display when then-candidate Trump appeared on Fallon's show in mid-August, in an episode that may taint the rest of Fallon's career. Of all the questions Fallon could have asked, he posed one that will live in infamy: "Can I mess your hair up?"